Okay, we're going to do a more in-depth video for the etching of the logos. We start with a pre-cut vinyl stencil. You can see that whatever's to be etched is cut out, and the rest is a resist. I usually cut the top and right to match the lines so that I can line up with wherever I want it to line up. In this case, I want the top line to kind of echo the false edge. Just get that stuck down, and it looks like so. After this, you have to mask around it in case you have leakage of the fluid that you'll see in a minute. I mask around it with just cheap Scotch tape. I find that the frosted Scotch tape works better than the glossy Scotch tape. You have to make sure you're not covering up any of the area where you want it to etch. A point where I have seen failures, both in my own work and others, is these little areas right here. See that white? I'll kind of push that down and make sure that there's not an area for the fluid to get underneath. Get back in right here. Anywhere you see little bubbles where the tape overlaps is a gap where your etching solution could run under that line and etch like right along there, and that would be bad. So, and I just do this off of an 18-volt battery from my drill, because everybody got batteries laying around the shop off of power tools. The positive side, I know I have the wires backwards, but the positive side clips to what you're etching. Negative side goes to a swab that I have in a vinegar and salt solution. And here we go. Swing that around, and this blade is, as it says right here, Nitro V. Had people ask, does it work on stainless? It works just fine on stainless. Works great on stainless. I have actually etched titanium this way. Titanium, aluminum, brass, bronze. Because what you're doing is putting an electrical current into the piece, and the electrical current is flowing through, and the acetic acid, which is the vinegar, bites the surface. The salt is an electrolyte that allows the current to pass more easily. The negative current goes in here and out here, and it pulls away material with it. I try to not keep on it for too long because it starts to get warm and makes your vinyl decal pull away a little bit. I'll check how warm it's getting from the bottom. It's is getting, it's coffee warm, but we're going to go ahead and hit it a little more. You can see the bubbles where it's cooking. You have to be really sure that your positive is going into the piece and your negative is going to the swab. Otherwise, it's doing a lot of bubbling and not etching anything. You just get kind of a black mark that wipes right off.
And your swab is just a paper towel.
Yeah, it's just a rolled up piece of paper towel. You can use a scrap of t-shirt, paper towel, anything that'll hold fluid. If it starts smoking a lot, you want to slow down. You're going to get, I don't know if you can see it on camera, but you're going to get some vapor from evaporation. Move it around, make sure you're getting good deep etch in all areas. That ought to be plenty deep. I like to run mine really deep. I see a lot of people will just do a light etch with the DC and then change it to AC so they get the black. But I just do mine deep and let the depth of the etch be the contrast rather than a color contrast. There you got, it looks all cloudy and fuzzy. That cloudiness is from the stencil kind of pulling away a little bit. This blade was up to 1000 grit before we started, so I'm going to go back with a piece of paper towel and get all the leftover residue from the Scotch tape off, because when it starts getting hot, the adhesive peels off a little. Go ahead and cut that for a second. Windex doesn't always cut it, but hand sanitizer is usually over 50% alcohol, and alcohol will generally get the adhesive residue from the tape off. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. It depends on your Scotch tape.
And we're using some basic.
Yep, Dollar General brand Scotch tape. Yep, acetone it is. Acetone takes nearly everything off. Yep. Here. Should have gone with acetone first. Clean as a whistle. Then I will go back with my, that one doesn't even say 1000 grit wet dry paper and Windex. And I'm not really removing much material, I'm just removing the blush from it, so I'm just going to do straight pulls. And you see, even the first wipe cleans it up so much. I mean, that's just one wipe. That's cleaned it up pretty good. So you don't have to like start from ground zero at the grit you were at. Just make straight pull, just like you did your last finish grit. You still see a tiny bit of haloing on it, but you can keep going and it'll get down to a very crisp edge. I generally will run it across the buffer so that the bottom side of the etch is nice and shiny, like glossy, and then go back over it with the 1000 grit to even the finish up. Which actually gives it, I think, a pretty cool look, because you're seldom going to get an even blackness at the bottom of the grit, the bottom of the etch. It ends up kind of dark in places and light in places. I will hit that on the buffer real quick. You can see it's not a uniform dark color, kind of splotchy. And I could go ahead and mirror polish the whole thing, but I'm not a big fan of mirror polish. So I do it the way I like it. And come back with the 1000 grit. Fresh side so I get clean cuts. Give it a few 1000 grit full straight strokes and it should even back up. It really makes the logo look sharp, I think. But my knife, I'll do it the way I want. A few more strokes with the 1000 grit to get it nice and even. You wouldn't think it would take much to get 1000 grit scratches into a gloss finish, but sometimes it's that way. And when I do my straight pulls, I start off of it elevated and kind of sweep in and stop here. You'll notice the front side of the block is elevated, because if you go in and stop and pull straight back flat, your body is going to cause it to rotate this way, which is going to give you a blush line. And it will take you a long time of doing it to figure out exactly how the hell you're screwing it up that way. But that's how it is. So and sometimes you drive the edge of the block into the blade, cut the sandpaper. Much better. Clean piece of paper towel so we can get all the smudge marks off of it.
Just for reference, this is before sharpening the blade.
Yes, not sharp yet. Though I have been known to forget and do it after sharp. And there you go. You get the high gloss at the bottom of the etch. There you go.